What's up? Welcome to Tales Tomorrow. I'm Morrow, your storyteller for today. With me have some more RPG horror stories. Fun fact, I looked myself up, I googled myself, and I realized my name, Tales Tomorrow, has a very similar thing out there called Tales of Morrow, which is a survival game currently available on Steam on early access. I think it's still early access. I thought it'd be kind of meta if Tales Tomorrow played Tales of Morrow. Maybe we could do like a stream of it or like a small video. I don't know, just to experiment, to mess around. Either way, I'm gonna get to some RPG horror stories for today. We'll probably stream the game. I think that'll probably be easier. Class Clown, player character takes a dark turn. Hi there. I've been a DM for almost 10 years now. I have plenty of horror stories throughout my experience. Always been too nervous to post them out of concern the players from the respective stories might see them, but I finally decided to relive one of the most awful player stories I've had to date. Trigger warning for attempted essay in the game. Long post TLDR at the end. This story took place about 4 years ago. I remember Eberron Rising just recently came out, which is relevant because Problem Player's class came from the sourcebook in the form of Alchemist Artificer. I was running a paid campaign for a group of friends that took place in the Forgotten Realms. It was a homebrew story that I wrote after getting a general idea from the party on what theme they wanted it. I ended up making a campaign about the Lich Vecna and enlisting the help of the party to stop another powerful Lich, Acererak, I might have mispronounced it, who was once a pupil of the former that now sought to overthrow him. The campaign started with Vecna resurrecting a group of 4 renowned warriors from different ages and worlds. They arrive in Faerun in order to be his champions and slay Acererak before he can succeed. The hook of the campaign is that the 4 warriors have been resurrected with pseudo-lichdom. They don't appear undead and seem mortal by all means, but they still have phylacteries housing their souls, which are all kept under lock and key in Vecna's domain. He promises the party that if and when they stop Acererak, he will reward them by fully returning their life and letting them have a second lease in Faerun to accomplish whatever goals they wish to afterwards. The player and friends seem very excited by the premise of the campaign and eagerly worked with me to create their characters. One was a changeling rogue with amnesia. The second was a chosen one paladin that failed to fulfill their destiny. Third, we had a warlock that now drew his power directly from Vecna in his new pact they forged. And finally, we arrived at the problem player, a very inhuman artificer. His player is really the only relevant one, so I'll just refer to the other 3 players as Rogue, Paladin, and Warlock. The player's character seemed normal enough at first. He was a renowned alchemist in his life and that specialized in poisons and was seeking to make the ultimate poison that caused forever sleep. The player describes it as, think of it like the cursed slumber of Sleeping Beauty, except there's no cure to wake them up. Okay, a little creepy. But the rest of the players was still extremely solid, and at the time I still thought his character concept was cool, albeit a little weird. He was upfront about the artificer being lawful evil as well, so I felt reassured that he at least knew his motives were questionable. His character's name was Kill Bosby. At the time, I didn't look twice at the name, but it will be relevant later on. So we get session 0 out of the way. Next week, we officially start session 1. From the get-go, I could tell I would have my hands full with Kill. The other 3 players were very immersive and deep into the roleplay, which I still appreciate to this day. They rarely broke character and kept side discussion at a minimum. Kill, however, tried to make a joke out of everything. He would constantly slip a word in edgewise at every NPC throughout a quest. I would constantly try to get a laugh out of the rest of the party, which he did often, to be fair. I remember a few occasions where I told him he would have been better suited playing a bard. I could tell the guy was probably the friend group's resident class clown. A good example of this, there was a time the party was convening with a mummy lord that ruled a sunken kingdom beneath the land of Anorok. Hope I pronounced it right. The encounter happened a few sessions into the campaign. He was a close confidant of Vecna, and the party actually sought him out at Vecna's behest. The Mummy Lord was explaining to the party that Acererak was collecting the knowledge and power of lost Netherese magic to create a ritual that could wash away not just Vecna's divinity, but any other god he so chose. It was a very important dialogue because this was the party's first exposure with how exactly Acererak was going to try and overthrow Vecna. The end of the conversation went as follows. I know what Acererak's next target is. There's a crashed netherreal enclave with a powerful magical artifact buried within. He'll be sending powerful whites there too. Wait. Whites? What does it matter what color they are? I wasn't referring to the color of their skin. Rather, specifying that they are a vile and dangerous type of haunted undead warrior. Now come on, man. Just because they're pale as sheets doesn't mean they're ghosts. But I apologize. I should have known better than to try and explain myself to one with meager intelligence such as yourself. Oh, it's because I'm black, isn't it? Yeah, really should have played a bard because I can get some really heavy vibes over Class Clown. There's nothing wrong with being a little bit zany and making a few jokes here and there, but if you can't even take for just a brief moment the seriousness of the nature, it could be a little bit weird. If the rest of the party is playing a more serious campaign, if the campaign has a more serious tone to it, I would think some class clowning will be okay, but not if all your responses every single time are going to be class clown responses. That would get kind of aggravating. It really depends on the kind of line and kind of campaign you want to play. If y'all decided this is going to be a more of an epic campaign that's more serious than anything, it makes sense for everybody to just take it more seriously rather than not. Or maybe the rest of the party isn't taking it seriously, just this class clown is just doing this. Also, Kill Bosby, what is that a reference to? Maybe it's Kill Boss by something? I don't know actually. Maybe it's an anagram. Who knows? Anyway, let's continue. This right here. I can't tell you how many times he hit an NPC in the world with this one-liner. Obviously, my problem isn't the skin color on this PC, but when he tries to make every serious dialogue encounter with NPCs into a joke about his character's race, it gets old really quickly. I remember he got a couple of heartfelt chuckles from the other players the first few times he ran this one-liner, but they quickly stopped reacting at all after it became a repeat occurrence. In fact, in his encounter with the Mummy Lord, the party kind of ganged up on him and demanded he take the encounter seriously because they needed the mummy's help. Oh, I can certainly relate. You ever have friends that regurgitate memes consistently, constantly, every single time at every opportunity? They'll watch a Russian Badger video and they'll just memorize all the quotes from Russian Badger and then they'll just keep regurgitating those memes over and over and over and over again until it's dry and stale and uninteresting, and that's actually aggravating. Nobody tells the guy to shut the hell up. Everybody just doesn't laugh and doesn't react. The hopes that the one guy in the group actually gets the hint that the jokes are no longer funny. The mummy had paused and given them any more information and aid in face of Kill's jeering. Remember, this mummy is still a ruling lord of an entire subterranean kingdom. It was once a god/pharaoh. He expects full respect and reverence to any mortals that have an audience with him. The party had to pass a high DC persuasion check to regain his attention, which the paladin barely passed. As soon as the party had him begrudgingly continue explaining the necessary details, guess who decides to put in their 2 cents again? The artifact had long since permeated the land with a malevolent magic it is steeped in. The people living above the ruins it dwells in don't realize it, but it is a cause for all the misfortune and tragedy that befell the village. You see, the artifact is putting their— Wait, you telling me the artifact is a pudding? You could have opened with that. I've been dying to have some pudding ever since I reincarnated in this awful world. No, pudding with 2 T's, not the dessert you speak of. It was a verb. If you let me finish, you would have known that. Damn it! Don't get my hopes up and then pull the rug out from under my feet. I found this really strange image in Google. This has nothing to do with the relation. I just thought it was kind of funny. A D20 ball gag. I feel like the DM needed to give that to the player just to make him shut the hell up. Weird kinky things aside, let's continue. The mummy at this point is furious at the interruption from Kill. He rises from his throne and screams that he had had enough. He explains that for the disrespect the party has shown before him, he will not offer them any more information, and they're banished from his kingdom and forbidden to ever set foot into it again. The party tries to reason and say that he's supposed to be a subordinate of Vecna that is obliged to help them, but this only infuriated him more. He was offended by the word subordinate and told him that he was just a trusted ally who owed a favor to the Lich, but that his goodwill had been consumed by the gall of Kill. His favor to Vecna would now be him not killing the party where they stood. The party gave up and promised they would leave immediately, but begged him to at least tell them where the Netherrealm Enclave is. This prompted a persuasion check from the paladin. He actually rolled a nat 20 plus modifiers. Impressed, I immediately let him know that he succeeded the DC check. Then Kill butts in. The player asks if he can help Paladin in order to make up for him causing the mummy's temper tantrum. No. The DM just said it passed. No, I insist. It was my fault. I caused this mess in the first place. Yeah, we all saw. Paladin's trying to fix his screw up right now, so just stay out of this. I can't in good conscience do that. Kill's player begins to describe what his character does as the other 3 party members try to talk over him and urge the narrative along. Rogue says he's going to grab Kill to hold him back, and Warlock says he's going to clap a hand over his mouth to keep him quiet. Contested strength check from Rogue and dexterity check from Warlock to see if he's quick enough to stop him before he says something. Warlock rolled below 10, and I remember Rogue rolled pretty decent, but Kill's result was higher. Both fails. Kill said he shrugged off the concerned kindness of his friends and steps forward beside the paladin to help negotiate. Look, this can either go the easy way, or then there's the other way. How about you tell us the location, and then I promise to ignore the not-so-secret threat you just made about sparing our lives. I was flabbergasted. I can only assume the rest of the party was stunned and silenced too, as no one said anything for a long moment. Mind you, the party was only level 4 at this point, and they were facing down a mummy lord as well as his envoy of undead warriors in the room with them. The one who finally broke the silence was Kill's player when he asked, "So, can I roll intimidation?" What? No, the mummy lord isn't swayed by your words at all. In fact, I proceed to explain how the mummy lord was about to disclose to the party the Enclave's location because of Paladin's excellent roll. But because of Kill, the mummy lord instead loses all patience with the party and immediately warps them out of Mummy's kingdom into the surface world above. Kill laughs maniacally and starts talking about how the mummy was so scared that he had to run away. Meanwhile, the other 3 party members are silent. I also informed Kill that the mummy lord imparted the pharaoh's curse to him because of his disrespect, which is normally only branded upon thieves who steal from the mummy's tomb or kingdom. The curse made him have disadvantage on all saving throws until it's removed. This made him laugh even harder for some reason. I remember we called session there, and afterwards 2 of the other players messaged me. Paladin messaged me to vent his frustration about how he felt he couldn't do anything in the situation and about how mad he was at Kill's player. Warlock also messaged me, who from what I understood was the main friend who organizes D&D game, and sought me out to pay and DM the game for them, to apologize on behalf of Kill's player and say that he knew he could be rowdy, but he's never seen his friend ruin an entire encounter like this before. I felt bad and told him it was alright, and this just made things more interesting for the party. I remember for some reason thinking that now, because of the lost pertinent information and the curse put on Kill, it would be a learning experience on why you couldn't always goof around in certain encounters. Boy, was I wrong. I'll be honest, with some people that are more of a class clown character, they don't care what happens, whether the reactions that they get or any kind of reactions they elicit is positive or negative. Myself, I'll put myself on blast and let you know right now, sometimes I make cringy humor and cringy jokes just to get people to cringe and groan. I like doing awkward, weird dad jokes every now and then just to get people in the voice call that I'm with to groan and cringe. I elicit the cringe, and I don't care if it was if they make them laugh or make them cringe. The whole point is to elicit a reaction, which makes me kind of satisfied. Obviously, I know there's a boundaries that don't need to be crossed, and there's a moment to stop. There's a moment for jokes, and there's a moment to take things seriously. And I know these lines perfectly. I understand them perfectly well. But Kill doesn't. Kill doesn't care about, staying on point or really playing along with everybody else. They just want to make sure they can get some sort of reaction for their personal enjoyment. They love the attention and they love just getting some sort of either positive or negative, any reaction. Literally, for them, their mentality is any reaction works for me as long as I get something. I mean, to be honest, most class clowns interact and react because they get some sort of attention. Their validity isn't a positive response, it's any response. The game went on and Kill continued to be a class clown every step of the way. I can't remember every single one of his offenses, but they were all in similar vein to the encounter with the mummy lord. Anytime the party talked to a noble, guard, or important quest giver, serious and down to business encounters, he would always find some way to make a cringy joke. He was a bard, it would at least make sense, but he was a goddamn alchemist. The guy literally had his dump stat in charisma -1 modifier. So not only did his friends and I not find any of his jokes funny IRL, but neither did the NPCs in the world. I try to have some talks with him about his character's behavior without overstepping too much because of this being a game I was paid to DM. But I always got the obligatory, "It's what my character would do." I let it rest after a while, as to be fair, I had Warlock do a lot of checking on him too during the sessions. Ah, the tried and true, "It's what my character would do." How about you make a character that's not a dickhead and actually takes situations seriously? You choose to play the character this way. You choose to have a character be an antagonistic element to the party and tries to screw them over through their comedic attempts and jokes and stuff. You choose to screw the party over whenever the diplomacy or any sort of social interaction comes into play. How about you choose not to be an asshole and make your character an even bigger of a jackass for this whole scenario in order to work out? How about you work well with the party? How about you choose as a player to make a character that works well with the entire party? Try to excuse your player character actions because it's what my character would do is like excusing yourself to be a jackass. Right now the guy's being a jackass and he's just saying it's what my character would do to excuse his jackass behavior. When honestly it should be completely unwarranted and the jackass should just stop being a jackass. How about you choose not to be a jackass, huh? How about you choose that for your character? The jokes, however, weren't the only or the most annoying thing Kill did. Every female NPC in this world, I kid you not, Kill tried to hit on at least once. Of course, this never went anywhere because of his horrible charisma stat, but it sure didn't stop him from trying. Took me a while to realize it, but after a good several sessions, I started to realize it wasn't just a coincidence. Literally every female NPC he had a pickup line for. I remember even a couple of times I had to stop him because I told him the particular NPC was either underage or was married or etc. To his credit, he usually stopped after the first pickup line when he failed his charisma check, and I told him that we're not attracted to him. However, this one NPC that he came back to try his luck on every time he saw her. The girl in question was the owner and barkeep of the tavern that acted as the home base of the party. It was a homebrew tavern that I named the Courteous Kobold. It was on the main road just outside the city of Waterdeep. The party got free board there because of their earlier quest was to help the owner, an elven woman named Rella, rescue her workers which had all been kidnapped. Long story short, the workers at his tavern were all kobolds which Rella had brought from slaving operation years ago in Baldur's Gate. She did so they could be paid workers with a safe place to stay at her tavern instead of being bought by someone else's manual laborers that will work to death. She treated them all very well, gave them lodgings, and paid them as much as any normal tavern worker would be. The kobolds also retained their freedom and could leave at any point should they wish, but they all chose to stay and work at her establishment. This is important because Kill would make many slave jokes about them in the session to come. The idea for the tavern was a spoof of the Maid Butler Cafe, and the kobolds all wore very expensive and tailored suits and ties, and were very courteous and attentive to the tavern goers. The party ended up liking the tavern so much that they decided to make it their base of operations, since Rella told them that they all had a free room to their name whenever they wanted it. Yo, that sounds amazing. Can I go to that? That sounds so adorable. Like having little kobolds running around in little tuxes and ties and looking all fancy and stuff, serving you drinks. That would be real cute. This soon became a regrettable decision because Kill relentlessly hit on Rella. Unlike the other female NPCs where he would always give up almost immediately, every time he laid eyes on Rella, the onslaught of pickup lines and compliments would be unleashed. She turned him down every time, with her main reason being that her only true love is the Courteous Kobold Tavern and her work. Always had to come up with multiple other excuses throughout the incessant flirting from Kill, such as Rella believing that she was way too old for him. Kill was already an older guy by human standards, but Rella was a few hundred-year-old elf. The flirting was annoying, but it was nothing I wasn't equipped to handle, or so I thought. You know, if somebody continues the same act, you could always just ignore them. For real, like I wonder what would happen if you just ignored Kill flirting and pretend like Rella didn't even notice their existence. I bet you that would probably piss off Kill, but it'll really let him know extremely heavily that literally nothing they would do that was like on this kind of matter would get any kind of reaction, but reward them with a reaction whenever they took things seriously and actually made a serious thing. I bet you that would have maybe fixed things, or maybe got Kill to be bored enough from the game that would just leave entirely and present you with an out. I mean, this is just a hypothesis. I don't know if that would work. It's just a guess. I don't know. What do y'all think? Eventually, Kill's player came to me and asked me why he never seemed to have any luck romancing the NPCs. He asked if romance wasn't allowed in my games, to which I assured him it was, but that he had a really bad charisma stat, and so all his pickup lines fell flat. He had something along the lines of, "So what? I'm just never going to be able to have a love interest in the world?" I told him that wasn't true, but that he would have to build a genuine bond with someone as opposed to trying to pick up line on every girl he meets to see if he gets lucky. This seemed incomprehensible to him. He couldn't seem to fathom that one-night stands are going to be hard to come by without high charisma or any charisma-based skill proficiencies. I told him he could always just find a brothel in the game and get his fix that way if he was really that concerned with it. To which he just said, "No, I would never pay a bitch for sex." His comment really concerned me, but I just kind of closed the conversation soon as that and try not to think about it. Jesus Christ, that paints a very vivid picture of how Kill sees these NPCs that are trying to flirt with. After that, he never approached me to complain about romance in the game again, and I dare say he even laid off on the flirting with every female NPC a little bit. Still gunned for Rella non-stop, that I come to expect. I remember vividly the session where he finally declared that it was about time he started pursuing pursuing his character's own motive. Kill began to continue his goal of concocting a poison so potent that it caused an incurable forever sleep, or basically a permanent coma. This elicited eye rolls and complaints from the rest of the party, with Warlock in particular giving him the most flack for it. Warlock insisted that they couldn't pursue any personal agenda until after they fulfilled their pact with Vecna, at which point they would get their chance to accomplish whatever goals they had. Kill told the party that he would only research it during his downtime between sessions, which the party was fine with. From then on, every downtime moment he had would be dedicated to using his poisoner's kit and herbalism kit to study, concoct, and test different poisons. The rule I had was that he would have either a recipe or a vial of the poison already to be able to make an exact copy of it, otherwise his downtime would yield various poisons that he wouldn't know the exact effects of. He was fine with this rule, and over the course of multiple sessions, he began brewing a variety of poisons from the Dungeon Master's Guide, and deepening his character's understanding of poisons. This arc of his character actually gave me a lot of hope, and was the most enjoyment I had playing with his character throughout the course of this campaign. Even the party was hyped for it, especially Rogue, who was able to use all these poisons to great effect during combat. I was foolish enough to think that maybe his character was actually experiencing character growth and could still have a good plot line. After I believe the 4th time of him experimenting with poisons, he created an essence of ether poison. For anyone who doesn't know, a creature who breathes in this poison is knocked unconscious for 8 hours if they fail a DC 15 con saving throw. Kill was elated when he made this poison because he saw this as a breakthrough in his studies towards making the forever sleep poison. At this point, Paladin asked Kill what exactly he wanted a poison that could cause someone to go into a permanent coma for. His answer was kind of vague, but he essentially said that some people deserve a fate worse than death. Plus, this gives us a method to incapacitate things like gods that are immortal or unkillable. I didn't want to rain on his parade, so I didn't jump in to tell him that most enemies at this caliber of a god have immunity to poisons. I wanted to let him have his moment, mostly because his passion for this was applaudable by the group, and it meant less time for him harassing women or being a wise guy. Finally, we arrived at the session where everything came to a head, and Kill went from being a slightly problematic player to a full-blown nightmare. I don't remember what session we were at, but I remember the party had just reached 9th level. I remember this because Kill had just received his next subclass feature as an alchemist artificer, and I planned a little plot point to commemorate it. I decided to throw him a bone and let him have another breakthrough during this downtime with an experimental poison he was crafting, which he used the knowledge of essence of ether's composition as a foundation for. Once the downtime concluded and I had him roll his DC for crafting, I informed him he had a major breakthrough and discovered a virulent poison the likes of which had never been seen. He was freaking out and excitedly asking me what it is. I told him he had discovered a new poison, a brand on his own, that was so powerful that anyone subject to this, which failed a con DC check of 15, would be unconscious for full 48 hours. Target also couldn't be shaken awake. Only a healing spell such as Cure Wounds or Lesser Restoration or a poison antidote could wake the creature before the 48-hour period. This essentially made it 6 times more potent than Essence of Ether. It was a homebrew poison I made especially for his character. Honestly, it is so commendable to see the DM trying to work things out and having the DMs kind of work with their player characters and trying to get them to make something cool. But knowing Kill and how Kill handles situations at all, I bet you it's going to be used to do something. Well, I mean, there's an SA tag for this post, so I'm assuming they're going to try to SA somebody. That's just my guess. He was ecstatic about this and began asking me a flurry of questions about it, like its value, name, ingredients, etc. I let him name it, and he chose the name NyQuil for it, for whatever reasons. While the party and I were discussing it with him, he commented that it still isn't strong enough to his liking, but that at least it shows he's making progress. One question he asked me, which I guess should have been a red flag, but I was blindly having a good faith in his player, was whether it was a poison that could be ingested or if it was strictly a poison that needed to be inhaled like the essence of ether. I really hadn't thought about it, so I just told him either one could work. He just said, "Good to know," and we carried on. The party congratulated him one last time on the discovery, to which he thanked them and said he'd have to test it out soon. The party ordered some breakfast and began discussing their next move. At this point, they discovered that Acererak had made a major move and killed another lich named Zaz Tom and assimilated his power and soul into himself. He then subjugated the red wizards of Thay that served Zaz Tom by convincing them that the patron lich's powers and will now lived on in him, and that together they will fulfill his vision of dethroning not just Vecna, but all of the gods. Acererak is now using the stolen artifact from the Netherrealm Enclave the party never found in time, as well as a lost forbidden ritual to have the Wizards of Thay conduct him and finally steal Vecna's spark of divinity. The party's next move as adversary of Vecna is to venture to Thay and stop the ritual by either stealing the artifact or assassinating the leader of the Red Wizards to send him into disarray. The party realizes at this point that they will have to venture across the continent to the opposite coast in order to get to Thay, and as such will be leaving their favorite town for an indeterminate amount of time. They will get disheartened at this and unanimously decide to throw a big going away party tonight before they leave. So they do. The party invited all the favorite memorable NPCs that they've made on the Storm Coast throughout the campaign to the tavern, and they have a big going away party. Throughout the evening, everything goes great. NPCs reminded how the party helped them while offering them the hopes and praise that they can stop at Sararak and fulfill their mission. Everyone was drinking and being merry when Kill announced that he is going to buy everyone around with the absolute best draft the tavern had to offer. He asked Rella flirtatiously what the best drink the courteous kobold had to offer was, and she said it was a keg of a house-made barley-based beer that's finished in oaken whiskey barrels called Dragon. He demanded an overflow pitcher of that for every patron in the bar. Costed him nearly an arm and a leg, but he had a stockpile of gold from all the poisons he had decided to sell so far, so he covered the cost without question. After everyone had the drink, he asked me if Rella got one as well, to which he said, sure, why not? He said that it's good. He wanted to make sure the cost covered her drink as well. The other three party members tell him that once they finish their drinks, they're going to go ahead and turn in for the night, having decided that they wanted to get up early and embark on a long journey across Faerun. Kill says he's going to stay behind and revel some more. I've rolled my eyes and think that he's probably going to try and flirt with Rella again. I even think for a moment that I may give him a chance to roll and see if he can impress her, given his good behavior lately and how the party wouldn't see this NPC for a long while, maybe if ever again. He does indeed approach Rella, but what he does is the exact opposite. He asks her if she has any more of the dragon left, which he now knows she keeps in the cellar in the back. She says yes, and he asks for another pint of it. The player explains to me that he wants to make a toast with her before his character turns in for the night, in order to toast for the success on the mission ahead. He asks if she still has her drink, or if he'll have to buy her another one, to which I tell him that she still does, and it appears she hadn't had much time to sip on it before dealing with serving the others. I expect the worst out of this. This is a setup for a disaster. I can't believe the DM didn't even think about it. Light bulb didn't pop in the head. I mean, I understand in the moment it can be a little bit difficult to think about it, but you still gotta remember that Kill is still Kill. No matter how much time they're investing into like the game and everything, they still gotta probably pull the problem play behavior. And I'm guessing DM kind of had a bit of blinders from that whole event. It didn't consider what is Kill trying to do now. So he pays for the drink and she leaves to go fetch it. I remember him asking, did she leave the tavern? I thought to myself, yeah, I just said that, but still confirmed that she did indeed leave to go get the drink. He asked how many patrons are left and if anyone's still partying. Figuring he just wanted to buy the tavern another round of drinks, I decidedly told him that with most of the party's departure, pretty much all the other NPCs have left at this point. Those who were still there were blackout drunk on the floor, with the kobolds trying to wake them up to get them to leave. He says, oh, perfect. Kill's player then says without any hesitation, I'm gonna take out the NyQuil and pour it into Rella's drink, making sure no one sees me. Yep, guessed it. Immediately, the party and I start freaking out and asking this guy what the frick he's doing. After stating his intent to dump the highly effective poison in her drink, he just reiterates that he is going to do it, and the other three players still asking him what the hell is wrong with him. The other players ask if they can stop him, but they already stated they're going to bed, and Kill quickly snaps back with, no, you're all asleep, stop trying to metagame. Ask him what exactly he's trying to do by poisoning this NPC. The party all unequivocally likes quite a lot. He just says that he needs to test the poison and make sure it works. I think at this point the guy's a major a-hole who doesn't care about what the party wants or about the NPCs in the world, but I've always been huge on player agency, so if he really wanted to do something as evil as poison the tavern keeper here, so be it. He did say from the get-go in his campaign that his character is lawful evil. Player agency, I understand that completely and I fully support it, though there are some caveats and there are some lines that need to be drawn. If the players are doing something that's extremely unsavory, like I'm gonna guess that maybe Kill's gonna try to essay Rella because it seems like they're trying to roofie her, yeah, you definitely want to stop that and say, nope, not happening, ain't gonna let you happen. Get the hell out of my table. I just decided to make this a sleight of hand DC check, stupid high. The customer NPCs might all be gone, but the kobold workers are still there and would very much be watching their boss drink or belongings while she's gone. I'm gonna roll up and this man rolls me 26 with the DC I set for the sleight of hand being 25. I at this point realized that he took sleight of hand proficiency with his artificer and paired with his +4 to dex to let him barely pass the check with a roll of 18. So he successfully dumps the poison into the drink and pockets the empty vial without the kobold kobolds noticing. I'm beyond pissed at this, but I let the role stand. The other players just repeatedly kept saying, "What the hell are you doing? What's happening? Knock it off," etc. I would also like to mention that if they hadn't dawned on me that what the players had done was essentially roofing the NPC's drink, the thought hadn't crossed my mind that he could potentially be trying to drug and assault this NPC because despite this guy's faults and annoying behavior, I never thought he could be capable of doing something so awful. Rella comes back with his tankard and gives it to Kill, to which she proposed they make a toast. A toast to a successful journey to save the world. She toasts with him and I regrettably narrate as she takes a long sip with him. She sets the mug down and immediately comments that the drink was stronger and more bitter than she remembers it tasting, as I rolled the con save. The girl is a calmer NPC. She had a 0 to con. Likelihood of her rolling a save is very low. Remember the dice roll on that day. A 6. For a moment I thought of fudging the roll and just saying she passed, but I still genuinely had no inkling as to what his intention was. I truly did believe him when he said he just was testing it to see if it worked, and then would laugh like the annoying a-hole he is before his character go to bed. So I was truthful and said she failed. I narrate how Rella had a fit of coughing, gets a cold sweat as she starts wobbling on her feet before collapsing behind the bar counter. All the kobolds in the room run to her aid while shouting concerned cries. Sure enough, Kill's player starts laughing like a jackass while the rest of the party just groans and continues to yell at him. Orla kept asking if he was happy now and says now once Rella wakes up and realizes what happened, they probably won't even be allowed back here. Paladin just says the party should be more concerned on if he finds out because it will be PvP on site. Asks Kill if he is done, what he is going to do now. He says he rushes to the side of the kobolds and tries to help Rella to her feet as he shouts at the kobolds to back up. Kobolds angrily ask him what the hell happened and why she suddenly collapsed. He says, "It looks like she had a little bit too much to drink." I immediately tell him to roll deception. His crappy charisma modifier yields him less than 10. I believe it was an 8. Kobolds don't believe his words and immediately become suspicious. They inform Kill that they'll be taking her to a room and one of them is going to depart to go find a doctor in Waterdeep. Kill tells the kobold that they can go get a doctor, but he will take her up to a room because he's stronger than the kobolds and he can get her safer in bed, easier and quicker. Kobolds protest and try to approach him to take Rella from him. He backs up and insists on taking her up. I'm roll persuasion and he fails. Kobolds refuse to let him take her and cite his creepy behavior towards the boss's grounds for why they wouldn't let him. Kill immediately gets angry and says he takes out his quarterstaff to threaten them that he forced them out of the way if he has to. "All I care about is getting her to safety," he insists. The kobolds decide to relent to him, but follow him up the stairs to make sure he gets her in bed safely. Kills brings her upstairs to the kobold in suit. Once he gets her in a room, he says he immediately closes the door behind him and locks the kobolds out. The kobolds start shouting at him to let him in while banging on the door. Kill explains how he sets Rella down on her bed and shouts at the kobolds that it's fine, that he tucked her in bed. Kobolds obviously don't listen and keep demanding that he open the door. Kill then walks over to the door as the kobolds bang on it and cast arcane lock on it. You know, this would have been a perfect time to just swarm the guy with the kobolds. I mean, there's so many kobolds that probably know where the knives are in the kitchen. They could just straight up swarm the guy and paralyze him. I mean, with all of them working together to try to pacify him, hitting him with all heavy objects and stuff, they could totally kick his ass. And then they would be the ones to lead the boss upstairs to the bed. I don't know why you let the kobolds relent like that so easily. If they think the guy is suspicious, why would the kobolds allow some weird suspicious guy to take the boss upstairs to the bedroom? I remember at this point that I began getting extremely worried as to what exactly Kill was trying to pull. I fully anticipated this whole encounter going with him fleeing to his quarters after he administered the poison and acting ignorant the next morning. But now he's locked himself in Rella's room, magically blockaded the door, and refusing to let her workers be by her bedside to ascertain if she's okay. Then Kill goes way too far. He starts narrating how he gets up on a bed with Rella and begins to unbuckle his pants while saying, "We don't have much time." Okay, DM, this is the right time to say, nope, you don't do that. That doesn't happen. Arcane lock doesn't work. The kobolds barge in, seeing you on top of Rella, and they stab your character to death. Your character is dead now. No death saving throws, no nothing. And I get the whole thing about player agency and stuff. You know, player agency is important, but are you really going to support player agency or somebody struggle snuggling your NPC? I don't think so. I don't think you should allow player agency to do that. There are times where DMs have to say no and reel things in. And this moment right here is a perfect moment when to do that. The Discord voice chat explodes as I and the other 3 members begin freaking out and asking what the hell he is doing. He tries to ignore us and just describes how once Kill's parents are off, he is going to start undressing Rella. No, we're not doing this. You said you were just testing the poison. What the actual hell are you trying to do? Exactly what I said. Test the poison. Yeah, frick no. DM, do I hear the kobolds banging on the door in the hall and shouting? Yes, in fact, the whole party hears this and wakes up. The party proceeds to rush out the rooms, not even taking time to don their armor, just grabbing their weapons. They don't even waste time with the rogue trying to pick the lock. Paladin just immediately bashes the door in with his maul, and I don't make him do any rolls. They'll see Kill in a bad attempt to take off Rella's corset. That's bullcrap. I cast Arcane Lock and you don't even make them roll. It should be almost impossible to get through that door. I was worried the party was trying to talk the situation out. I can't tell you how relieved I was when I heard Paladin ask, "So, do we need to roll initiative or can I just run up and attack?" Paladin runs up to Kill and immediately takes 2 swings, to which Kill tries to use a shield spell as a reaction, to which I tell him he's too surprised by the party breaking through the enchanted door to take any actions in a first round of combat. This is bullcrap. You plot armoring them. Are you serious? You're damn right I am. Just like, yeah, damn right I am. That's kind of funny, actually. The party then explains how each of them takes their turns to brutalize him. Paladin pumps the highest level smites he can into his attack. Warlock Eldritch blasted him and knocked him off the bed against the wall. And Rogue hid during the chaos and sneak attacked him with a dagger he threw square in his head. Somehow, Kill still barely had some HP. Alright, my turn. I'm going to... Not so fast, the first round isn't over yet. I then describe how the kobolds rush into the room and dogpile Kill. I didn't even roll anything, I just describe how they take advantage of him lying prone on the ground after Warlock's Eldritch Blast knocked him off the bed to tear him apart. In a matter of seconds, Kill's entire body has been torn limb from limb and lies in a bloody heap on the floor. Kill's player goes absolutely ballistic as he demands a roll for the kobolds, and how dare I kill him in a cutscene? I just responded he only had a few hit points left. With him lying prone, there's no way they wouldn't have been able to finish him off. I've never seen such BS. There's no way I would have been surprised. I knew they were trying to break in. If I had been able to use shield, none of those attacks would have hit, and I would have murked all of your asses. You knew the kobolds were trying to get in, but not us, dumbass. I'm also sure Kill would have expected the party to immediately beat his ass with no questions asked. But surprise. Seriously, what the hell, Kill? You've always been a troll, but this was too messed up. Why'd you try to essay the NPC? What, you guys don't get it? It's all supposed to be a joke. Cue mass confusion and silence from us. You don't get it? I can't believe you're all so stupid you still haven't caught on. I'm Bill Cosby. Oh, Kill Bosby, Bill Cosby. Wait, do you genuinely think that's funny? Party and I in unison. What the frick? I just swapped the B and C from first name and last name. He was reincarnated from his world to finish his original mission. Yeah, no, none of that was in your backstory. We did not agree on this. Yeah, I kept it a secret to surprise you. This is supposed to be the big reveal and you guys ruined it. Oh my god, this guy's an actual literal moron. If you have some sort of a surprise, some sort of a twist, you know who you should tell to? Your DM, because they can set up for that twist. If you want to have a twist for your character, communicate with the DM, talk with the DM about it, and have you and DM work together to have the big twist, make some sort of a payoff. Not this. This is not a twist. This is stupidity at its finest. We all told him that this wasn't funny at all. In fact, he might just ruin the whole campaign for his whole joke. He threw a big wrench in the story by pulling his right before the party left for the main quest. We called session there, and that night Bill Cosby's player texted me asking if he could roll a new character. Hell no! I remember at the time I was worried because I didn't know if the party would want to continue the campaign, and if so, if they would with the problem player who pulled all this. I knew that if they did want to include him, I would have to step out. I was a little nervous doing that, considering I was being paid to run this campaign for them. I was also depressed because I thought the campaign was going well aside from this character's BS. I was excited to see where they would go next. Thankfully, the Warlock's player texted me the next morning to let me know that the party wanted to continue playing, and no, they didn't want the problem player to rejoin. Apparently, he had already started talking about the new character to the party in a group chat they had. They all shut him down immediately and told him he wasn't allowed to come back. Apparently this made him super pissed and he left the group chat. We actually finished the entire campaign. The three of them invited another friend, a girl who rolled up a monk character about halfway through. She was an absolute joy to have. I actually still DM with that friend group sometimes to this day. Not for money anymore, just for fun. And we still reminisce about the nightmare the player was. Actually fell out from the friend group within the same year because of other reasons, which is probably for the best. I don't really have a moral for this story other than if you're going to make a joke character, especially one that has essay as an integral part of their character, tell the DM up front at the beginning. So at the very least they can shut down the idea from the get-go before you go multiple sessions in and get killed and kicked from the group. Also been traumatized to the point I always get paranoid whenever I have a PC interested in trying to use Poisoner's Kit to this day. Yeah, always have your character be approved by your DM. Also, if your whole point of making a character just to pull some sort of a big like SA twist, just don't fucking do that. Don't even create a character, don't even sign up, just fucking leave, because nobody's gonna be interested in that sort of thing. Either way, a good lesson to learn. Yeah, always run characters through your DM to see if your character can be approved, and let your DM disapprove a character in case they are like Kill's character. Man, Kill Bosby, I should have recognized it immediately. I didn't even think about that whatsoever, dude. I didn't think about it one bit. I gotta be honest. And with that, that's gonna be all our stories for today. I want to thank you very much for watching, and thanks so much for being here. If you like what I do, consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like. Also, if the RPG Horror Stories ever goes down, or if you want to submit your own personalized horror story, email is down in the description below. I'll see you again in more Tales tomorrow. Bye-bye.